Welcome to The Fault Vault. We have two brothers breaking down their business mistakes.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fault Vault. My name is Jay from Bradfield Express Cabinets. We sell cabinets. As always, I'm joined by my brother here.
Jared, I'm the brother. And I run Worldwide English Services, and we customize and deliver online English training courses for businesses and government clients.
There we go. And right now, we have seamless transitions, by the way, on this podcast. And right now you are in Saudi. I read something. It's weird that, I don't think we've talked about this. Weird that Saudi just put the family of Saudi put their name on a country. It used to be like Arabia or whatever, right? And they just.
I'm not really sure. I was actually just last night, I was out braving a minor dust storm because it was very windy, and I had to get a shower when I got back because my hair was full of dust.
Goodness.
But it was rough. I didn't send you a picture. I forgot to, but I'll send you a picture.
Okay.
It looks like it's like the pictures you take in the winter when it's snowing and there's like a little bit of glow around the lights because the light is shining.
Wow, the snow falling.
It's like that, but it's dirt in the air. That's what the light is shining.
Did you have a mask? You need a mask.
No, I did not have a mask, and I did not use it.
You didn't do your shirt?
My rings are used to it. I've been smoking a lot of hookah. My lungs are really...
And historically, you haven't been you haven't been coughing for the last 4 years or anything, so yeah, it's...
No,
okay.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm good. Good to go.
That's crazy.
But anyway, I was at... It's the original capital, the first capital of the Saudi kingdom. There are 3 of them, and so there's a lot of history there and a kind of a big exhibit. But I didn't, I was there with my friend, and we didn't go through, to actually read everything. So another time, I'm looking forward to going back and reading everything. But there are 3 kingdoms, and they're all Saudi kingdoms, with this family Saud. So, yeah.
It's a crazy thing. How is the client wooing going?
Well, today I am wiped because I went to something that I wanted to recommend for you to see if you're interested, actually. I went to a conference. I went to an industry conference. This was for payment solutions, I guess. There was banking and finance companies there. There were payment companies, and there were logistics companies. And so I was there with my friend, and we were just walking around to all the different booths selling our services. So we got a whole pile of business cards, a lot of people who are interested, a lot of people who said, yeah, send your information over and probably nothing will come of it. But several very strong leads and some really big companies. So that was good. That was a really good one. And we'll see. So I was looking up in your industry in Philadelphia. I thought that would probably be really good for you if you went to a construction one to get a lot of clients in big developers. Yeah. So I know there's one in November. There's one in Philadelphia, the Green Riddler or something like that conference. I'm going to talk to the audience while you're doing that. So everybody, here's the thing. When there's something that you need to do, don't put it off. Even if you're in a situation where it seems like you should really be focusing on what you're doing in the moment, don't. Do it so you don't forget about it. That is an example. But yeah. How about you? How are things going with you?
I was going to say something. One thing real quick. A tip for you. One thing in the videography world is there was a period of time. I don't know if people still do this, but there was a period of time in a more kind of specific group I was in where they would send video clips. They would send video things to contacts. And so I don't know if that's something you'd be comfortable with or something you think that would over-index, but something to stand up, be like, hey, it was a pleasure meeting you, 20 seconds or whatever, and just sending them that with all the rest of the information you're sending, just to get a little more and be like, oh, I remember this dude. He was walking around, he had a great haircut or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
I like that idea.
Yeah, so it's honestly more work.
Like WhatsApp, and I can send a quick video.
Yeah.
Barely. It's you have to type out the message anyway, so you can speak out the message too. That also works fine. But yeah, I like that idea. I probably will do that. We'll see how it works.
Yeah. It's
so yes. Anyway, you, how are things?
No, it's good. We're I'm waiting to hear back waiting for this confirmation for these orders. And other than that, it's just doing my normal stuff. I mean, it's just marketing. It's just cleaning up around here. I'm going to be moving soon, so working on that kind of stuff. So I got some personal stuff that's distracting. Have decided I'm going to put my own cabinets in the kitchen of this apartment, and so I have to figure out exactly how much I want to do, because it's a weird configuration, and so I want to see as well. And there's one of my lines is discontinued. It's one of the colors and that's in a style. That specific combination is getting discontinued, and so they're really heavily discounted. And so I've been thinking about doing that one just because it's super cheap, but it's not my favorite. I love the color. It's a espresso color, but the style is my favorite. It's more of a traditional. I like the cleaner, contemporary look. And so I've been thinking about that. So one of the things today is to actually I priced it out with that specific one. It's very inexpensive for me, as you can imagine, but I want to price it out with the kind of my normal ones, just to see if I want to stretch and how much more it's going to be, and see about that. So anyway, but no, there's nothing exciting going on as far as that goes. It's just business as usual over here, waiting to hear back about those. It turned out to be four decent sized orders. So I'll be busy with that. Hopefully picking up on Monday and have everything ready by the end of the week. So yeah, hopefully I want to get that banged out, done. And like I said last time, film a bunch of it and use some of you just get more in the habit. I'll use that as getting the habit of filming and just having content and having things to put out that are interesting and whatever. So moving right along.
Sounds like you're learning from some faults that we've stuck in the vault, and we'll pull them back out of the vault and see how the results are with learning from them. That's good for you. That's fantastic.
There we go.
Cool.
I think I'm gonna go first today because I've just been talking a bunch. I'm just gonna continue. I'm on a roll. Okay, I'm on a roll. And one thing I'm not on a roll with is here to talk about. It's a little early to talk about it, but taxes. Okay, taxes. So I have a hard time with things that I don't know how to do or haven't done before. Just the process of going through, figuring out what is the information that's pertinent, figuring out when to do what, trying to find, talking to people, figuring out there's conflicting information, there's some that doesn't apply to me. And so last year I paid a penalty because I did not do quarterly estimated federal tax payments. And I've kind of justified part of that because I'm like, I'm not paying for an accountant, and so I'm saving there, and I just follow myself with this Schedule C, I think it is, come tax time. But I really need to dive in and figure this out and be a grown up. And it's one of those things. I've had to tackle a number of things like, fire alarms and insurance and registering stuff. I've even Pico or internet or things like that. There's a bunch of things like that I have had to figure out as I'm going along, and that's a big one. I figured out a bunch of things even with taxes, how to file, all that kind of stuff. I think I'm doing it right. I don't even know. I do it honestly and as accurately as I possibly can. However, the estimated quarterly taxes, if I can avoid having a penalty, that would be better. So that's one thing I wish I would have done in the beginning. I wish I would have either paid somebody, because I don't even know how much it is to pay. Would you mind sharing how much you pay, or is that not public information?
It depends. Yeah, because it's I pay for several different things. When things are simpler, I think I paid about $500 a year, or each tax cycle. Now I pay much more because it's for a corporation plus personal plus something else. So I want to say it's like $1,500 now, something like that.
Oh wow, that's still not terrible.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay. And I have a payroll service also that they're relatively cheap. It's a few $100s a quarter, I think.
Okay.
But they're awful. So I'm not sure that I'd recommend them. Yeah, I just got a notice that that I have some penalties to pay or something like that, and so I sent them an email. Why do I have penalties to pay? But anyway, back to your problem though. So that's really a common issue, I think. I have the same thing when you have to really tackle something, and especially when you put it off for a little bit. And I have my to-do list every day, and so if I don't get to something, I just change the date so that I push it back to tomorrow or Monday or whatever it is. And so, once it, well, smart, but on the other hand, once it's like, okay, this is the fourth time this has shown up, or I'm 2 weeks into this not getting checked off on my list, then it really starts to hang over you. Question for you. When you figure those things out, when you figure those things out, do you get an extra burst of dopamine because, like, yes, I really got something difficult and I got something that was way over me, or the same, less? What do you think? Is there any ratio there?
I think it depends on the outcome, because I'm picturing two different things. One of them where the process is, once I get past that, it's like accelerating a car when the emergency brake is on, and you don't realize, you're like, what's that extra resistance beginning? And then you kind of start going, and the car goes, then you realize, oh crap, I'm destroying my car, the emergency brakes. But it's kind of like that. So in the very beginning, once I get past that, it's easier, but it depends on the outcome. So if I get to the end of it and I realize I have to pay a lot more in taxes than I thought, I still can't figure out the information. I'm still not sure what things apply to me. Those sort of things. If I get bad news at the end of it, then I'm like, oh, I was avoiding this thing. I finally did it, and now I feel even worse. A good reason to avoid it. I know. I was like, it would have been better to be ignorant. And that's happened a couple of times, and that's just like, I'm just like so discouraged. And I shouldn't. Like, I just should, this be better if I had tougher skin. Those things would just kind of be like, hey, this is the cost of doing business. I just spew and keep rolling. Like, we just gotta keep going, and there's nothing to do. I'm going to lose more energy and time, and therefore money, by feeling the negative energy more than is necessary. But yeah, so then other times it does go well, and I get the information and I figure it out, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't so bad. I should maybe tackle the other things. So that's to answer that question.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about the ways to kind of incentivize yourself, if there is a way to do that. What the first way that I thought of, if there is a correlation between getting a bigger dopamine boost because it was a more challenging thing, viewing it that way, like, all right, let's go get the dopamine boost, focusing on the reward rather than the task.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm thinking about, so in the future, what do you think are ways that you are thinking about applying to get out of that trap, so you don't just have the same thing you're putting off all the time, and then you get it, but then you have the next thing you're putting off all the time?
Yes. So the long-term solution to that is to change my perception around things that are difficult and things that are fear-based objections or avoidances. And that would be to associate that with an attack, associate those situations with almost aggression. And that would have to be to kind of to override the fear, would have to be some sort of aggression. So in a perfect world, I would be seeing these things that are difficult and be like, I'm going to go attack that, and associate those with that. And so that would be in a perfect world. Right now, I have pretty much the opposite of that. And so I see the fear and I back off. And so, or I avoid, or I whatever. And so the idea would be to get into a pattern, and it would have to be the first 20 would be the hardest. Of getting into a pattern of attacking those difficult things once I see them, and then enjoying that process, and regardless of the outcome, just hitting it. And then with the next one comes, and I just go, I'm just gonna go right at it and see what happens. I'm just gonna go right at it and see what happens. And I just haven't had the strength and the courage. I don't know what it is to do that, because it's wildly uncomfortable. And so I think that would be the long-term solution. But of course, because I said with the outcome, maybe the outcome isn't good, or isn't pleasant or positive or desirable. With this, I can motivate myself because I don't want to pay that. I don't want to pay the penalty. And so I'd be like, okay, this is basically work. This is basically making money if I can save $400 a year, because I think that it was close to $500, the penalty, I think. And I didn't even think I was going to have to pay any taxes because of the way that inventory went, and sales and expenses. I'm still at the beginning, and so I'm not making much money. versus my expenses, and so I wasn't even expected to pay that much. They changed the law. I was reading all this. Can only take 80% of your deductions. If you spend if you make 100,000 and you spend 100,000, you can only take 80% of that, and the other 20%
Really?
is rolled to the next year. Yeah, and so I was like, but my income is this. I have small income.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, why is my, it's like, yeah, it's like, I barely made money. Why am I paying all this in taxes?
Right.
So that was fun. Not at all.
Yeah.
And like 400 of that was
Well, it sounds
a fee.
you'll have the deductions next year though, right? Or this year.
I'll get those, yes. But again, I think the same thing, it'll apply, the same thing will apply. So we'll see. I really don't know what my numbers are looking like. So we'll see what it is. Anyway, that was a long time.
It's one of the
difficult
things is about, difficult things about running a business yourself. I have had many people be like, come on, just hire somebody for that. Hire somebody to do your taxes, hire somebody to do your payroll. It's like, okay, that's fantastic advice. Will you pay for them?
Yeah.
Oh, you won't? Oh, okay. Yeah. Then no, I'm stuck doing it myself, and I'm not a tax accountant. Yeah. Yep. There's a lot of big issues you have to just jump in and tackle, and it's frustrating, but that's the road.
Yes. So I want to do that before the end of the year, and so I'm prepared for next year. Anyway, that was a long one.
There you go.
Next, I'll have to keep mine shorter. But I think that was important. So, what's going on over there? Tell me about something you've been thinking about.
Well, so there was, today at the conference, I made 2 small mistakes that I'm going to loop under one heading. Cool. And the heading is that I wasn't tailoring what I was saying to the person I was talking to. So the 2 examples of that. Number 1, and I'm in my head, I can't remember what the second one is, so I'm hoping I'll remember that by the time I get to it. So for the first one, is we were talking to a salesperson, and because at this conference these are banks, etc., and they're selling to people, so it's our target audience is not there. The L&D, the HR function, they're not there, and so basically it works well for us because we talk with the people who be the direct consumer. Like if the sales team needs English, then the sales manager, the sales director is the one who would know that best. And so then they can go and tell HR, like, hey, we need English training. Here's a great company, talk with them, make it happen. So that's excellent. But what I need from the salesperson is not complete understanding of the solution. It's just the conviction that it's a good option and a connection with HR. Everything else then I have to deal with HR. That comes later. And so I was with my friend. We were talking with them, and she pointed out a couple cases afterwards, in particular one that I'm thinking about, where I went into some detail on how we customize our courses. And the salesperson doesn't really need to know how the sausage is made. They just need to know that it's customized, what the outcome is. Great. Now go talk to L&D. They're the ones who have to worry about the details. My job is to worry about the details of how to sell. Yeah. And so I need to be more sensitive to who I'm talking to and just give them the information they need. I don't need to overshare to go back to the fault from last session. So that was one. The other one, what was the other one?
Let me jump in
while you're doing it, so I might just stick with, go for it.
While you're thinking of it.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking through that. So talking about things that are about maybe the UI, about how cool the teachers are. So the things that would more apply to students. They get, it's find out what their fears are around learning and talk about that from the student's perspective, and then have them run it up the flagpole to is that what you would more target or more want to happen next time?
Yeah. And I think the key there, when to know that you've sold enough, is active listening. So when you see that the person is engaged, they like the idea, and they're passing you on because, or they're offering to pass you on because, like, yes, I can see the value in this. Now let the team that's supposed to verify that you can actually do that, verify that you can actually do that.
Yeah.
Uh, if they're doing that, then great. You gotta end the conversation. You don't need to do anything else. I don't need to do anything else. If they're passing me on because I can see that it's like, okay, this isn't my problem. Just talk with those people. I don't want to deal with this. That's different. They're not really going to be in my corner. They're not going to sell me to the HR team. And so in that case, I think there's much more value in sticking with it a little bit. What I did a lot today, one of my very favorite things to do is just say what I'm seeing. There were a couple times when I was talking with people, one time specific, I said to the guy, can I try to read your mind? And he was like, okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Standing out.
I said, yeah. And I said, I think you like this idea, but you don't see a lot of value in it, but you're not comfortable just telling me that right up front. And so you're trying to think of potential applications for it. And he laughed and was like, yes, exactly.
Wow,
And
cool.
so the cases like that, yeah, for sure. There's another one. The guy gave me a high five. I did something similar. And he literally like gave me a high five because I said exactly what he was thinking in that instance. I think that really helps to clarify the situation. So if I can get to that point, and I think they're kind of being a little bit dumb, they're not really thinking about how this actually is important for them, I might push a little bit more. But if I think like, okay, this guy clearly knows what he's talking about, and we've hit the end of the road, then fine. I'll even say a couple times I kind of declined. They said, you can talk to HR. And I said, well, it sounds like there isn't really a need and I don't want to waste our time or theirs. And they're like, yeah, probably not. So I didn't even take the
Nice.
Yeah. So that's although that's not quite about the fault itself, but the fault was those cases where, I just oversold. It was like, they don't need to know this. I already told them enough. Stop. Good.
Yes. As a counterpoint, though, I feel like there's something, a possible outcome with that. And one of them is, and one that I'm thinking of is enthusiasm for your own product and what you do. And I think that even though something, so it's not that you can win even when you're not doing the right thing necessarily. Sometimes I come through it. So say you were infectious in the way you were talking and you're like, and all they got from it, they don't remember anything you said. They're like, this guy really cares about learning and cares about his product and really likes his product. I don't really know what it's about. I do need to learn English. I'll let them handle it, but whatever. And so there's sometimes if the person's really not interested, you'll probably bore them and they'll be uninterested. But if they're anywhere near engaged, I can see myself, I'm projecting a little bit because I can see myself being like, I don't even need this product, but this person sounds like they really know what they're talking about, whatever. And so that's a cool thing. Even if you're not hitting the right target, you're still saying something about yourself and about your company, and you're representing yourself as an authority and somebody that enjoys what they're doing and likes to do it. So I think even if you don't hit the mark, you can still win depending on the situation.
Yep, could be for sure. And I remember the second case. So the second case was kind of the opposite of that was giving too much information. This case giving not enough information. There's a client, a logistics company, and they asked us if we had worked with logistics companies before. And I am super honest with everybody to a fault, and I mean that literally to a fault in the vault sense of the word. We have teachers who have worked with logistics. There's a company where they do logistics for a palace here, and I think we're going to work with them, but we don't have a contract signed yet or anything like that. And so what I do is I'm very very honest with people. They say, "Have you worked with logistics before?" I say no, and I don't think that's a really good answer. So in what I need to learn how to say, I need to kind of learn to conceal my cards a little bit. I don't need to put them all down on the table. So it's okay to say, oh, yeah, we're working on a project right now with a logistics company for the palace. That's entirely honest. I didn't say we haven't worked with any logistics companies in the past. And I kind of made it sound like this is something we're familiar with because sure, it's not terribly difficult. We can pick it up. That's fine. We're not going to be complete imbeciles about it. So that's a much better way of handling that rather than saying no. And actually, I've made that mistake before, so I don't like repeating mistakes. We did something similar over the summer with a ministry here in Saudi Arabia. So yeah, it's in both of those points, it's being really careful to think about the information you're giving the client, the person you're talking to, really, and making sure you're giving them the information that they need to hear. In one case, it was not giving them too much information. The other case, it was concealing a little bit of information, or the way of framing the information in particular. Yeah, that's what I will be working on.
It feels like there's a phrase or a line or like is it Chris Voss? Whatever his name is. It feels like there's a line there. It feels like there's something that you can redirect that. Would you not work with us if we hadn't? Is there something that's drastically different about that? Which those aren't right, but
yeah.
It feels like there should be something to be able to turn that question around and be like, it doesn't matter, but also not insult them. Or be like, you know what I mean? Like, we've worked with these people who are even more difficult than logistic companies. We wouldn't have a problem with that. I don't know, something to reframe what they're saying, because they're asking you to come up here, maybe somehow to put yourself above that, or to say that this standard you just gave me doesn't matter. I'm not sure what it would be. I don't have read enough of the books and things, but it feels like there is something to be able to turn the dynamic a little bit. I don't know if that's possible.
Possibly. Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to give that some thought, but it could very well be. Yeah. That's also a good potential solution to that issue.
It's nice to be able to fall back on honesty when not honest otherwise, but more brutal honesty, or more honesty than other people would probably give in a situation when we're new at something. It is a safe bet to go with, because lies are destructive and uncomfortable, and they're not helpful. And so it's nice to fall back on that, but being able to be more articulate about it. It's just so hard in those moments, especially like walking around. You're in the moment, you're talking to people and whatever. It's like, how are you supposed to come up with like the right thing to say all the time? There's pressure, Ugh, I'm getting uncomfortable just thinking about
all about the reps.
Yes,
it's all about the reps, the practice, making the mistakes and reviewing them. So if you want to make mistakes and review them, subscribe, follow, like, all those things, because that's what we do around here.
That is what we do.
Exactly what we do around here.
We get our reps in. Okay, let's keep it moving. We actually do have a sponsor today. We have
fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna, the copy is a little bit, so I'm gonna just kind of read it off here. Today's totally real sponsor is Lowe's, actually, which is a bit awkward since they sell cabinets also. But we all know and love Lowe's and their home improvement goods and services, like tool rental, flooring options, and a vast paint selection. They actually did include a note here. Our only weakness is our cabinet lines, which can't compete with local retailers like Radcliffe Express Cabinets in terms of, they say, customer service, product quality. And Jared, you actually might be surprised by this, but even price, as if the other advantages weren't enough. That was just a little part of the bottom there. But it says visit your local Lowe's.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
Finish it up
real quick. Just get the bills paid. Visit your local Lowe's store this coming Saturday to see all the dads with tucked in T-shirts. Thank you very much to our very real sponsor, Lowe's Home Improvement. Wow, that's great. It's great. And I was very surprised to have that little addendum in there. But yeah.
Well, we were just talking about the importance of honesty, and so I kind of really appreciate that they set a really good example. You don't always expect that from the big box stores. There's sometimes that's like kind of crushed the little guy a little bit, but this one I really appreciate that they were very honest with that.
It's
addendum,
and
that's cool.
And it's important that these big box. It's important to remember that these big box places don't do everything perfectly, and so they do a lot of things that are really well. But there's some gaps in their game, and they were honest about one of them. So
that's where the little guys fill in.
That's right. But yes, for now, thank you very much for watching and spend this time with us, listening to our ramblings and our faults. and our hopefully our solutions as well. So anyway, we'll talk to you soon. See you later, brother. Bye bye.
Thank you guys so much.